Full-time, full-time. You're listening to Full-Time Daughter. It's a full-time job at this point.
Welcome back to another episode of Full-Time Daughter with
Isa
and Kaylin.
Another week.
Another episode.
And you guys won't even believe what just happened right now.
And thank God we noticed it quick.
No, thank God, because we usually talk for like a long time and then we cut the episode down. So I can't even imagine what would have happened if we didn't realize what this was happening until much later.
Especially in an episode like this one where we're critically analyzing media. Imagine if we would have let the entire episode record and then we listened back to it and it was all scratchy.
Literally.
We could not understand a single word coming out of our mouths.
You guys know, like, at the beginning of our like podcast, like right at the start, we had so many mic issues and it's become like a running joke where we're like, oh, the mics.
But like, what can we do with a self-produced podcast? You know what I
what
mean?
are you gonna do?
Stuff like this is gonna happen and it's out of our control besides like us learning and adapting.
Yeah, of course.
Thank God we adapted so quick. We're like, oh my God, no.
We were like, what's going on? What's going on? We were kind of like spitting bars and then we were like, why did it stop recording? And we were like, let's listen back to how we sound. It's giving static, like poltergeist television static. Anyway, welcome back to another episode. We are super excited about this episode because we've been wanting to do a deep dive type of episode where it's kind of like a media study, and Kaylin was explaining it really, really well, so I'll let you take over.
We were cut off in such a tragic way. But basically what we're trying to do, and we'll probably do it maybe once a month,
of course,
with different types of media. It doesn't necessarily have to be between a book and movies or TV shows, but just anything that we're kind of watching and we see things that we can compare
for sure, or something on social media that we're like, oh, there's a lot of discourse around this, you know.
And right now that's between Tell Me Lies, which series finale just happened.
Yes,
I just want to say also, it being the series finale and not a season finale came out of absolutely nowhere.
I was as shocked as you,
like one day to the next.
No, I felt betrayed almost. It just was
somebody
so check on us. Like, did anyone check on us? Because we love Tell Me Lies, and I was like so excited for the show, and I was like, oh my God, like I would watch 6 seasons of this, you know.
I would too.
But no, they were like, oh, sorry.
I think it was just how sudden it came, because I think we were all so involved in the season, and this season was the one that really made it popular. I think this is the one that popularized it, and everyone started talking about it and watching it. So then they thought, I don't think at first they thought, like, going into filming it was going to be that big of a deal, because they were like, okay, we've been doing the show, this is already the 3rd season,
they had like
we have
an
an ending, we're gonna like see it through. And then now that it became such a hot topic, they're like, wait, maybe we should keep it going.
No, I'm 100% sure that Hulu would have continued. Their contract would have been renewed for another season.
It felt like a breakup. I was like, oh, out of nowhere from one day you just say, this isn't happening anymore.
But it was such a big topic of discussion, and we want to break it down today. And then we also have our book club book, Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy, has been trending on Book Talk and also just like the book world.
Because already it has a controversial title.
Of course.
So I think a lot of the things that I was reading in the book just reminded me, because it has a common theme of an adult, like, what do you call those relationships?
A horrible dynamic, abusive dynamic,
an
it's age
gap relationship. And same thing happens in Tell Me Lies. So a lot of just underlying themes in both the show and the book that I was like,
it got us thinking.
This.
Yeah,
and we've done similar style episodes in the past where we've talked about just like shows that we're loving and media that we love, but we kind of want to be more critical about the media that I think just are involved in. Like, we're constantly watching these shows, and then once I'm done watching or reading something, I completely am taken out of the story. I'm no longer in that world. I forget what I read. And I want to challenge myself to talk about the books that I read, or like talk about the shows and the plot, because if someone is giving, or like we're involved in a conversation about this, I want to be able to like bring up certain points from the show. And I feel like it just kind of gets lost on me. Like I just forget about it. And I'm like, oh, I just remember I liked it. Like the show was messy.
I feel you.
But there was like layers to this show. And I think it was
100%.
very, like it was very well done.
For sure.
In the sense of like characters were very mapped out.
I have like
and
for me, because you said something about like I want to do this for myself and like, you know, kind of dive into a more like critical analysis of something. For me, I think it's that I want to challenge myself to like formulate my own opinions about something. Like,
so important.
What did I think about it? Because with these two things that were talked about so much, and everyone has such different like opinions and views about like characters and plot lines and endings, I think it's like very cool to just
have your own
form
opinion.
your own view on something and like why it made you feel the way it made you feel, and compare it to something else you've read or seen. So,
and honestly, I think to be more interesting yourself, you have to be interested
for sure
in like what you're consuming.
And also, like, dare I say, I love a little controversial show or like something that's kind of trending, that
or something that like pushes a boundary.
For sure. And I think that like with Tell Me Lies in particular, I really like how some people aren't like getting, like, don't understand it. Like they see it very like surface level.
Yeah.
And I that's why I love watching the interviews or listening to like the actors on the podcast, or even like the showrunner talking about like just like the things that they did to make the story just deeper, and it's like not surface level.
They truly like understand their characters. Like when you hear them speak about the role that they play, they like take themselves out of their own body and put themselves into this character's role, and they can tell you from that character's perspective why they acted the way that they did, or put themselves in that mind frame. And I think that's so interesting and cool, because I'm like, that is you, but it's not.
Yeah, but I think it's just important to take that little extra step. I mean, if you care about it, but I know for us, like, it's so interesting to like watch interviews or behind the scenes, or just learning a little bit more about what it took to make a book or make a show, and like why they did what they did. That to me is important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So we're
putting ourselves back in class.
Yes, we made a little list of you know, our thoughts on Tell Me Lies. We kind of want to talk about the finale, because I think this was like a very controversial topic. Like, I think
it was very controversial.
Yeah, some people hated it, like hated it. I'm on the opposite end, where I'm very content with the ending. I think it was like I was very satisfied with everything.
And I think it was realistic for the 100%. Type of story that we were telling, because I know a lot of people were like, I was just left unsatisfied. Like, this person didn't get the ending that I wanted. Like, he deserved literally death, like jail time. And we're talking about Stephen DeMarco. Let's not forget. Stephen DeMarco. I think
everyone knew who we were talking about.
I will out your name, actually. But in a way, because the show had already, like, we've already been through so much with this man. Like, we have seen his mindset and his actions play out due to certain behaviors in his past, or just like wanting to hurt Lucy and who she's connected with, like everything. We've already seen so much happen that I don't even think that was like the main point of the finale. Like, we're like, Lucy is the main character, let's not forget. So we're supposed to be, or at least I think in the eyes of Megan Oppenheimer, the showrunner, I think we're supposed to be rooting for Lucy and just like wishing her well and hoping she frees herself from this man and this toxic dynamic.
Yeah.
And I think people are just seeing it as like, everyone's fighting, nothing was resolved, like they all still fucking hate each other.
But I think it's another thing of like, I think people are too, like, they want just like the saddest, like they're like, oh, I just want it to be wrapped in a bow and have a happy ending. Like, they want everyone to get like what they deserved. And I found that it was like, the reason I liked the ending so much was because, it was realistic. It was like, these things happen in life where the bad guys get away with, you know, they get away with it. And we, like, there's some people that suffer. There's some people that have to start from literally
ground
rock
zero.
bottom. Yeah, ground zero. So it's like, I found it very kind of on brand for the show that we've been watching for all these years. Like, I found it that it was just like, this is the kind of ending that I wasn't expecting, but like, I'm glad that it happened the way that it happened, because like, had you told me like, oh, Stephen DeMarco is going to jail, I'd be like, okay, but how? Like, what evidence? Who put him there? Like, it just wouldn't, that wasn't the route that we had been seeing all season. It was more of like a mental, emotional season, I think.
Very true.
Less of like plot, police. Like, I don't know. That's why I was kind of surprised that people were,
and we
like,
were already seeing the past to the present. Yes, there was that 6-year gap that we were looking at, which I still think is very crazy for them to to be involved with each other.
No, like, y'all would have, I would have been out of there episode 1.
Because truly, like, I feel like we could have avoided
1. Oh, 100%.
We could have avoided all this drama if maybe after they graduated, they just sat down or like went to a dinner together and they were like, I have some things to get off my chest.
No, girl, then it would have been like Knives Out at the dinner party. It would have been like, and then there were none. Like, we're not about to do that.
Suddenly it's a murder mystery.
Now it's a murder mystery. We're not going to do that.
I guess, they just wanted to show a friend group and like how you stay, I guess, enveloped in each other's lives, and you can't really like break free from each other because one person's involved with someone else, and you're friends and you're connected through someone, and it just like ties you.
But I think it's also linked to like, a lot of us like latch on to toxic relationships, and it's hard to like get away from that. And I think like that was the most toxic friend group ever. Like, maybe like, I think it was cool that like Diana kind of like got out of there, and you can see like she barely hangs out with them like near the end of the series.
The one person with a mind.
The one person that was like, hold up,
maybe y'all are
let me switch up on them real quick.
So I think the way that we're gonna go about this is kind of take you through the Tell Me Lies finale through different points, the main points that happened, and then we're gonna share our thoughts and maybe even compare them to certain plot points or quotes from Half His Age that just kind of coincide with each other.
Yeah, you guys already heard our thoughts. I think it was a pretty good episode. Like, I was very emotional watching it. Like, I cried at so many points. I texted Kaylin and I was like, I laughed, I cried. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, let's start at the beginning.
Okay. So I think one of the first major points is Lucy trying to warn Yale about Stephen in public. Because I can totally understand trying to get this man in some trouble before, like, we're not letting this man go to a prestigious college with the name that he's made for himself, you know? Like, they have all been so scarred by this man and his actions, and I love that she was trying to go about this in a productive manner. But mama, what are we doing going to a public, like, I don't even know what it was. It was like it was kind of event, like
I think it was kind of like a meet and greet, like a
like
lunch.
Not quite an orientation.
No, I think it was like to meet people from the school, alumni, and like
connect, network.
Yeah, to like network and like, oh, these are the new people that we've accepted into our class.
Right.
I think it was like a little luncheon.
I love that we have this mentality, like, let's get back at him. But I also just think it could have gone in a different direction, like to cause a fight in public of like, she was like, get away from me, stop touching me. And it was like everyone was concerned and looking, he's like, girl, relax. Like, he's like looking around all frantic but trying to keep his demeanor and trying to keep cool. And I was like, having this done in public is so messy. I feel like we either could have sent an email being like, hey, I have something really important to discuss about one of your admitted students. Can we set up a time to discuss this further? No, it turned into a showdown, and now everyone's looking at you guys and concerned, which maybe that was her goal. I think she acted out of like desperation when I forgot where it was. Like, I think I know she like pulled up a dress. Like, she was like reminded that it was his Yale thing. Oh, hell no. Like, I'm not gonna let him have this. Like, he's taken away so much from me. And I think in that moment she was just like desperate for him to not get what he wanted, and I think that's why she did what she did. And again, like, she also was kind of going through it, like, I know she's like mentally exhausted and like dissociating and all of that. Really was going
so I genuinely think she acted like out of desperation and, you know,
yeah,
kind of maybe she was a little angry, but also a little scared. I don't know.
No, I can totally see that perspective as well, because we see her act erratically several times in the season. Or even just like forgetting her own actions. Like she fully is going through a psychosis where she doesn't remember if she does certain things. There was even a point in the episode where Steven uses that against her, and they kind of go at it in the quad where the video is released, this video that Steven filmed of her without her. I guess like she did do it out of manipulation, and she did confess to her wrongdoings on camera, but he used this like
blackmail.
I guess, yeah, literally he used it as blackmail, and then spun it around on her to think that because she's been acting erratically and going through these bouts of like forgetfulness, that she could have released it herself and just not remembered. And I thought
she's going crazy.
I thought that was crazy.
He wanted her to feel like she was going insane and that she did this to herself, like she ruined her own life. And I thought that was actually insane of him. I do feel bad for her because there was like a moment where she like thought so too.
No,
like,
she did.
Behind her eyes, like you could see that like she was like, oh my god, did I do this to myself? And then she like walked away,
which just goes to show how powerful Steven's words like
instilled so much doubt in her and like made her question everything. And
like she can fully go into something thinking one thing and she's like, I'm not letting this like get to me, I'm gonna tell him how I feel. And then it's by the end of the conversation she starts questioning herself, and I'm like,
yeah, there's like no, it's not willpower, but there's just no, like I think he's like,
he just has a hold.
He's so her. Like deep rooted in her, and like it's just so bad and like poisonous. But also I just wanted to say, like when she started forgetting things that she had done or things that she had said to people, I was like, I looked it up because that's like something that happens with like people that are traumatized. Like they start forgetting things, and it's like, I was like, that's how bad it got for her, that she's like so traumatized by this man and like fearful that she's fully forgetting moments in time. And that made me like so sad for her.
She is scared of him.
Yeah, she is scared of him.
Even at times, I think she finally admits to being scared of him towards the end. But throughout like the season, I think she would be asked like, are you scared of him? And she'd be like, no, I'm not scared of him. And now you can like really see that effect play out on her, and you're like, it's just total manipulation.
Yeah,
but
I agree, it was total manipulation. And you know what, now that you said that, I enjoyed the little dynamic that Diana and Lucy had this season, where they kind of like, they were brought together by the same cause, you know, and they both are agreed, like they're both scared of Steven and what he's capable of. And I just found like a lot of like, we see each other. Like I saw that it was like a moment of like,
we've been through the same thing.
Yeah, we're going through the same thing. And I enjoyed seeing that, and them having like those honest conversations, and having like, they're the only ones that know like the extent that Steven can go to, and they've like lived it. So
shared trauma.
It was
shared trauma.
I liked seeing that.
You know what I didn't like?
What?
You know who's public enemy number one to me?
Pippers. Miss Pippers.
She's
Pippa.
Actually, I think my least favorite character.
No, I tried to have empathy for Pippa, but when I rank you lower than Steven DeMarco, just out of like, because the thing about Steven is he never said he's a good guy.
No, he knows he
knows he's he knows he's vile, and Steven also like is meant to play an antagonist, right? So it's like, I just know like you're gonna be a bad guy, you're gonna be this horrible person, and I hate you. But I hate when a nice person, or like when you pretend to be good, you know, or you pretend to be on like a high horse.
That's also Evan.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll get to Evan because I got some words for him. But yeah, Pippa. Let's talk about her.
Okay, Pippa, just the whole season being so hypocritical.
Yeah.
At least from my POV, I'm like, girl, what are we doing? Because she calls Lucy pathetic after Lucy tells her that she hooked up with Evan in the past, and that whole thing with like Bree and their tension, and she was confiding in her friend, and she felt like at that moment she could be honest because they both had
like, we see each other moment of like, you think that you've done something horrible, I've done something horrible, let's talk about
just
it.
like, let's just air it out. And she tells her, and then Pippa reacts so just insane to me, like calling her pathetic. She's like, I never want to hear from you again. Get out of my room.
I don't know how you don't wake up embarrassed to like be you. I thought that was so cruel.
I thought that was insane.
I think it was cruel because first of all, I think it was projection. I think Pippa is like D1 at projecting. Like she is, you're literally so hypocritical because that's what you think about yourself, you know?
Hypocritical, and also I think she's hiding under all these layers. Like she's hiding under the fact that no one knows that she's with Diana, and she doesn't feel like heard or seen. Like nobody knows. Like she has like this secret double life, and I can totally understand being mad at someone for hurting your friend and like putting your friend in this situation and wanting to stand up for her.
Yeah, no, but it's terrible. She went overboard. And also I just want to say, like, I think Pippa's always been a character that she never really reveals herself to anybody, like not even herself. Like literally, like she doesn't even know who she is. Right. And I think I think a lot of the other characters like know who they are. And like, that's why I'm telling you, like, you don't even know who you are, Pippa. And I think she spent this entire series pretending to be somebody that she's not. And she continues to do it. Like, even in the series finale, like, she is still not truly herself. Like, she just comes out and, you know, is honest about what she's done. Yeah. But still, like, you're being hypocritical or you're being judgmental for something that like you basically did the same thing but in like a different font. It's literally right. And I also have to say, like, really cruel. She was really cruel towards Lucy, even though I don't think Lucy, and we'll get into like what she did and the lie and all that, but I think her heart was in the right place of like she wanted for this guy that hurt her friend not to get away with what he did. Yeah. Was she thinking soundly? Probably not. But I think in that moment, it was just so intense that she was like, oh, he did it to me too, you know? And she wanted to defend Pippa.
Well, and you were also talking about like how she was unfair. Yeah, she
100%.
Was unfair to Lucy.
But the whole season, also, though.
Yeah, unfair to Wrigley. Like her 100%. Boyfriend. This is someone who's supposed to be her boyfriend.
Not even her boyfriend, like her best friend. She always calls him my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. Right. And so it's just like you're a hypocrite again. Yeah, I just think it's really weird how she moved through the season and she judged other people's actions, like just on a bigger scale of like what she did.
It reminds me of a plot point in Half His Age.
Pull it out.
Where Waldo, the main character, she's a young girl. She's in high school. Her best friend, she tells her best friend Franny about this relationship that she has with her older professor, Mr. Corgi. And when you tell your friend something like this, of course they're going to have like an adverse reaction because what are you doing hooking up with a grown man? And you are, what, 17? I'm pretty sure. And so she tells her friend and she says he's an abuser. And then there's this quote where she says, "That's the problem with pain. It rattles you, makes you lose sight of yourself, and lean on the wrong people. The people who pervert being leaned on make it into a sign of superiority." And I was like, why does that remind me of when Lucy was telling Pippa about the whole hookup with Evan in the past? Because they kind of had similar reactions of like, they're using it as like a one-up. They're like, oh, you feel weak and powerless right now, and you're telling me this stuff, but now I feel powerful in knowing this information. And it's like this power dynamic that's like, I feel more than, or I feel more power. Or
what I did wasn't as bad as you. Like, yeah, I totally get you.
Yeah, because in the book, not like Franny did anything wrong. Like, she was just hearing her friend out.
Of course.
But then Waldo sees it as like, she also says like she doesn't cry in front of others because they mistake tears as a compliment to their caretaking, their hand-holding. The tears make them feel bigger than, better than, make them think you're weak, vulnerable, and your weakness gives them something to do, something to feel power over. And I always think that about just like even Lucy, like when she chooses to trust someone or open up, she gets met with these really intense reactions. And so I think that's why she's so, I guess, like hesitant to tell. I don't think she truly feels like any one of these people in the friend group is like her best friend.
No,
I know she would refer to Bree as her best friend, But even there, like, how did that turn out? Like, what do you mean? Like, they were never fully able to tell each other or like let their guard down and be honest, because there was always something between this friend group or like these lies that they were all covering.
No, I imagine they were all very lonely, like very lonely people.
Very lonely.
But yeah, about also that moment, now that I'm thinking about it, it was like they were reconciling, like they were kind of at odds the entire season because of the Chris thing. And then that was the moment where Lucy was like trying to be relatable, and it feels so sad because she thought in that moment, she was like, me confessing my wrongdoings and like the terrible thing I did will like make Pippa feel like we have this in common, like you're not alone and you're in this feeling, in this terrible like void right now. That she was like crying, feeling horrible about, you know, cheating on her boyfriend all semester. But yeah, I hate Pippa's like I just hated how she moved around, and also just like staying like in that cycle of like cheating for so long was like so annoying, because your boyfriend is perfect. Your boyfriend is quite literally like the sweetest man ever. Truly. And I think that's like that's like a little, you're cruel for keeping him on this like leash, and also just wanting his like affection or his company and having him kind of on the back burner. I can sit with a character that you're a terrible person or you make mistakes and you know you do. And that's why I don't hate Lucy, because I don't think she's ever lied about who she is. Right. Like I don't know, I think she does things because she thinks it's the right thing to do, and she's like, she wants to do the right thing, and then shit just hits the fan. But
I don't think it's ever like cruel intentions.
No, but then there's characters like Pippa, and there's characters like Evan, who Evan will play like the nice guy, and then like he'll go get his girlfriend's mother, who's an alcoholic, drunk on purpose so that his girlfriend can lean on him, you know, that manipulation. That's there disgusting. And just like pretending that you're a good boyfriend so that she can stay with you and need you. And I also think just confiding in her abuser was so gross of him. Like I've never liked Evan, and those are two characters that I'm just like, you're terrible people.
I think next, a major plot point that we should bring up, because practically the whole season surrounded
the tape?
No. Oh. But back in season 2, I was going to say the whole season kind of surrounded around Bree and her relationship with her professor. Very similar to Half His Age, where she's also hooking up with her professor. Right. But that was a major plot point also that came back around with this season, because this season he was doing the same thing to a different girl. When Bree finds out about this whole relationship that's happening with this other young girl, and then she realizes, wait, this is kind of disgusting. Like, what do you mean this older man is taking advantage of this young girl? And I don't even think fully realizes that also was happening to her. She feels like she needs to protect her.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot of the times in real life, where we'll see, like, we'll go through things and then it won't hit us that like how bad the situation was until we see it happen to somebody else. And then we're like, so true. You know, I think that happens a lot of the time. And I also think, just because we were talking about the professor, I don't know why, I was just thinking about how like men like that age, I don't think they have any business with a girl who's like younger than 30. Like I really agree. Don't think they, especially the different stages of life. I think if a man, for the most part, does that, it's like, I just don't think he has any business. Like, what would he want with you? What could you provide him, you know? Yeah. And also you have to understand, like, he's in a position of power, and I think that he took advantage of that. And he also knew like that this was a girl who was vulnerable, who was looking for something in him that she was missing in other people. And also she had just been like fresh out of a breakup. Right. And I think that men like that like to sort of prey, especially if they're girls who are, you know, right out of high school, straight into college. Like,
they're so malleable. Like, their minds are so,
you know, you're just a girl. You're literally just a girl, and you're like going into your adulthood.
You want to be accepted. You want to feel desired by someone, especially if it's an older person. I'm sure they see it as like an authoritative figure,
but also just like a person who has their shit together, and like, wow, they see that I'm so incredible and amazing, and they want to take care of me, and I'm beautiful and I'm sexy. And it's like, a lot of the times, I guess, like I can speak for myself. Like, I know, like, when I was in college, like, I would also always have to remind myself of those things. Yeah. And I think a lot of people might find themselves in a position where they need that sort of affirmation, or they need that, what's that called? Like,
validation?
That validation or reassurance from somebody else, because it's like not enough like tell yourself.
No, that's for sure what was happening in both the book and in Bree, and I forget this man's name. That's how, like, this secondary ass
weirdo,
just
fucking
a weirdo.
Professor Weirdo.
And I think it's also very weird when
his name was Oliver.
Oliver.
Sorry, I just remembered. Continue.
I think it's so odd to also have, like, your wife involved in this.
That's weird.
There are a lot of kinks in this show that are brought to light. There's sexual kinks involved. There's just, like, fantasy.
A lot of fantasy, I was gonna say.
Right. Like, so many things involved that go just, like, deeper. Like, I can totally understand if that is something that they're into, and they had an open relationship
with someone their age.
But turns me off completely
that it's like college students from the same college that you both teach at. And it's weird because they both had connections to the girls. Like, I think Bree was also a student of Marianne for a little bit because she took a class to help Lucy out. And then that's how Oliver saw Bree. And it's like really messed just up, like, that they sort of like conspired. They were like, we want that one. Like, it's a prey. Like, you're preying on,
I think it's
on this
so
girl.
Disgusting.
And it was really disgusting, really weird. And to also not stand up against your nasty husband and stay with your nasty husband,
stay with him,
knowing what he's doing, it's just gross to me.
I guess to that point also, like, back him up. Like, there's a point in the finale episode where
he doesn't even speak.
It's brought to light. They're all in a meeting. They're all face to face with one another. Bree is trying to defend herself, fighting for her life, being like, this did happen. It's happening to this girl. It's happening to me. Like, I have textual evidence. Like, let's pull up the scripts. Like I have these messages. Yeah. And they are completely denying the whole thing, being like, he never answered. He never said.
They made
you were the one sending.
They made it be like she's psycho, like she's like a crazy like girl,
you're the
schoolgirl
inappropriate
crush.
One.
Yeah, they made her feel like Florence Pugh and Don't Worry Darling, which is like, they think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. that like sound. No, I felt so bad for her, and I was really disgusted that like a few episodes before that, or maybe the episode before, Bree had come to Marianne's house and they had like a moment of I know he's disgusting, but like, this is my life and I'm so sorry. And she gave her like a hug. It was so gross, like, and like groomy, like
advice.
Ooh. Yeah.
That wasn't
like,
even advice.
No, like, it was really, really nasty. And I just thought it was so gross to defend somebody like that you know is like a monster, and you know that he's terrible, and you would rather be with him than be alone. Right. And what does that say about you? Like, that is just pathetic to me.
It's pathetic.
You're disgusting. Call the police right now.
In the book, there is a time when Waldo and Mr. Corgi they're in a full-blown relationship, and he's married as well. So it's like this whole situation where like he wants to leave his wife and his family and is like, I just want to be with you, after hooking up with Waldo for a bit. And then it gets to a point where they break up, and then Waldo kind of realizes that she doesn't want this for herself. Like, it's just, I guess the fantasy of it plays out, and she's like, well, now that it's already happened, this isn't desirable for me anymore. The chase is over. You're literally an old man. Like, just so many of the things that started their relationship and that she was so intrigued by just start to get boring to her. And so she's like, all right, I'm going to break up with you. And I think he tells her, I have the quote written down in chapter 80. He tells her in an argument, you're an adult when you want me to leave my family, and you're a kid when it's convenient to you. And I was like, oh.
I think that Oliver said the same thing to Bree in the office.
I think yes, there was something similar.
I do think that he said something like that too. Because when she said that you... like or maybe it was Marianne that told her that, but she said something of like, you are a predator. Like, you did this to me.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know if it was him or his wife that were like, oh, so now you're like a helpless like child, you know? Yeah, I like that quote a lot, and I like that connection.
Yeah, I was
because,
like, it's just so weird how someone can also twist like anything how they want the narrative to go. I guess the entire book, it's playing out with her trying to like vie for his attention, and she constantly wants his attention. She's texting him and like trying to get him to hang out with her all the time, and he's the one that kind of is like, I need to be discreet about this and secretive, and I can't be available to you all the time. And then the dynamic switches, and then once they're involved in this relationship, it's the other way around. And now she's the one that's like pulling away.
It's interesting because at the end of the day, I think that whoever is like older is, but when it comes to age gap relationships, or I just always think whoever is older, like you should know better.
No, you
100%. Cannot flip this on Waldo and say like, oh, now you want to be treated like a kid, you know? She's always been a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I just hate that. And it's the same thing with like Oliver and Bree. It's like, you should have known better, and don't use her like getting into the relationship with you and allowing things to move forward as like, oh, I thought this was what you wanted the whole time. Like, you should have known better.
100%.
And I just think it's like, you're kind of like, this is also your fault, by the way, you know? And I hate that.
Oh, I kind of want to discuss a little bit about Bree and her mom's dynamic, because I thought that was really interesting, and it also reminded me of Waldo and her mom's relationship in the book, because both kind of tumultuous relationships where they're alcoholics, they're distant, avoidant, and it's like covered up with a lot of, but I did this for you, or like excuses.
I want the best for you, always.
And I want the best for you. And in the book, her mom seeks validation through other men. And so she watches this relationship play out of like, she just sees her mom constantly switch from one person to the next. When you have a parent figure, like parental figure, who you are watching this from, that is very like ingrained in you. And then you grow up with this concept of like, well, because my mom does this, or I've seen her seek validation, maybe that also like played a role in like her, you know what I mean? Like, her mom was totally seeking validation, and I'm speaking to the book dynamic. That's the same thing.
You like, pick up that also, sort of like behavior, just being like, like maybe that is the norm. Yeah, for sure. And I do see the connection you made with like Bree and her mother, but I see it more as like the wanting to be like, because of her mother's absence and like her like the relationship that they have, there's like something that she needs to like fill that void, or like there's behavior that she, like her actions like like you understand why she's acting the way she's acting, because she's
for sure
lacking this, right? It's the same thing with like Steven and his mother. You can if you watch the show, you know, like the way that he acts towards women, because he feels powerless when he's with his mom, and probably that's like given him like all this deep-rooted trauma that he has never unpacked. He loves to like have the power over the women in his life, but I think it's that thing of what you were saying, that the, you know, your parents' behavior and your parents sort of teach you or show you, even if you're not like doing it on purpose, you start thinking that's like a norm, or it could be the reason why you do what you do.
Yeah, there's a lot of like childhood trauma being present in both shows that like surfaces, and you are kind of watching the characters deal with it in real time and how it plays out. Also wanted to bring up Alex, because
of course, let's talk about Alex. Let's talk about Alex.
He's like a
I like Alex
character in this season. He plays one of the main characters and one of Lucy's love interests, and I think they connect on like a very emotional level. They've been through similar just situations, and I think they seek this sort of connection from each other, where I agree because
like they're things. Like Kaylin said earlier, this show explores a lot of like fantasies and a lot of kinks, and I think that when a lot of Alex and Lucy's scenes together were always like sexual, and I think we saw their like power dynamic in that moment, and also like I don't know, it was kind of, I don't even know if to say it was a kink, but I think that there's certain times where because you feel powerless, you want power in that moment, or you want to feel like dominant, and then there's times where she has like that need to be like degraded because she's like, that's how I feel and that's what I need from you is to like make me feel terrible, for whatever reason, Lord knows,
which is so sad,
but they have this really beautiful scene, I think, where, you know, she's crying and he's crying, and I think it's like the one like honest, like very clear moment that they have with each other. It's like we've both been hurt and like we need each other in order to like numb the pain kind of, or like to numb this feeling, and like he gives into it and she does too, like they have that, you know, the scene progresses like it does, but definitely that was like a moment where we get a little bit of backstory to him, of like, obviously we didn't get like the full
like whatever,
like I don't know this man's background, but I think in that moment of like him crying and him saying like, I'm not a bad person, but we can tell like you've been through some dark stuff, I thought it was really pretty. I liked it. I
know. And there's also a point in the episode where when the tape gets released, she goes to Alex she feels as though he's the only person that will accept her in this moment, or like let her seek refuge with him, and just like that video was everywhere on campus, like anywhere she would look, people were watching the video, and so she just felt like, I need to escape somewhere
where I won't be judged, like he's seen me at my lowest,
and then she's met with, basically she was turned down,
rejection,
his door,
door in the face.
I guess that's what it was. And he tells her that he was like, this is the one thing that you don't lie about.
Really good.
And
really good
I
scene.
was like, you know what, Claude?
And he's like, referring to true. Like her, like the assault, like the claim, like everything that she said had happened with Chris.
Coming from a man too, especially because we also don't really know his backstory. We only know that it was tumultuous and that him and Bree kind of grew up in this environment that was not the best.
No, I think we can like infer that it was like an abusive household as well, because he said like it was worse for the boys. And I think that you can, I mean, make up your own, you know, fill in the blanks for his character. But I do think, in my opinion, that Alex was like a victim of assault as well, because for me, I think that it hit him really deep when he found out that she had been hurt, and he was so like protective in that moment, and then him finding out was like, he was like, I don't want anything to do with that, like you crossed the line. So I can believe that. Important. I think there's a little bit of background there. Diana had also mentioned that to Lucy, and she even says like, I know your heart was in the right place, but you discredited so many people who actually come forward and you know, want to get justice. And
like her heart was in the right place. It just was dealt with, and
because that's something you really don't lie about. And I felt bad for her, because I can understand like her position where she was like, I don't want this guy to get away with it. He's hurt so many girls. But the way that she went about it was just, again, like, so
I know
not the way that you should have gone about it. But I think she's very impulsive. Was it worth the expulsion and her life being ruined? Or not her life being ruined, but definitely her early adulthood. I don't know. I don't think so. I think maybe Pippa could have been like, hey, board of this committee, it was my fault, you know? Or can we talk about how
say something so bad, because not once in this season did she ever stand up for anything.
No, and it was because of you, Pippa. Like, she was defending you.
She was literally defending. Even if it was like a little saying where she was like, no, she doesn't deserve to be expelled, like she's covering for me, like this all happened to me and she just wants me to be okay, like just something to save the situation, or make the like authorities be like, you know what, like maybe we should question, like let's get down to the bottom of this, there's like something going on. Not once did she stand up for anything she believed in or thought, or because then after she's like, I feel so sad, like this shouldn't be happening, when she was like in private.
Yeah, but you have the power to do something about it and you don't, and that's why it just pisses me off.
That's
all
the
the time.
Type of person.
I agree.
I can't. On a lighter note, I need the man that plays Alex.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about Alex. Kaylin needs him, like, biblically.
I need him biblically. Like, I also found out he was born in 2001.
Oh, my God, yeah. I was like, y'all are the same age. It is meant to be.
No, but it's funny because, not to sound like a stalker or anything, but when I'm watching shows, like, I will search up who's playing what character.
Biography.
I'm like,
Costa D'Angelo biography.
No,
Born one. Where?
I was like, Alex, tell me lies. Like, who is this man? Like, I need to know.
Alex, tell me lies, single? Question mark?
No, literally, I was like, so let me see if there's like any like information on this man. How old is he? Because I'm not gonna be thirsting over a minor. That's not.
Whoa.
That's not. That's not what's happening.
Kaylin won't date anybody that's like even a year younger than her. She won't do it. If I was a man and interested in her, she wouldn't do it. So
I would be questioning. That's the thing, is because you really would have to just be like the most amazing for me to be like, okay, maybe. I just like, I don't know. And Issa sends me this like photo, I guess, that he posted in a dump, which I couldn't find his age anywhere on the internet. Again, this is so stalkerish of me. Like, free me. But we've all done it, okay? Like,
you're fine, girl. You're fine.
Okay?
We all want to know.
And couldn't, like, his age wouldn't pop up anywhere. And I was like, okay, this is giving elusive. Like, he's giving FBI. Like, he's in some underground. He's like, God forbid I share my age on the internet. And she sends me this like photo dump that he posted, and it's like an ID photo, and it just says 2001. She's like, come get your man. And
come get your man, dude. They're the same age. And that's perfect for her. That's what she wants.
I need him. That just confirmed even more.
No, and I also sent her, because he's going to be on Quinn, the app, and I sent it to Kaylin, and I was like, girl, are you hearing this shit? Are we hearing the same thing? Because that was crazy. Quinn, hey girl. Anyway, that was enough thirsting over Costa D'Angelo. I just wanted to say, like, Grace Van Patten, like, took the cake for me. Is that a saying?
God, yes.
Okay. Her acting, phenomenal. I
want her to stay employed forever.
Oh, stay employed forever, Grace. And
Grace Van Patten needs to stay employed.
She's incredible.
And if not by, like, the movie people, she's employed with me.
She's in my head. First of all, I just want to, this is like such an irrelevant side note, but Kaylin reminds me so much of Lucy's, like, just her fits, not her actions, but just like overall, like, Lucy's, like, period. She's tea. She really is tea. So she reminds me a lot of her.
I will take that with me forever.
Of course. But Grace Van Patten's currently my favorite actress because
I love her.
It's just been such a long time since I've been moved by someone on screen. And whenever I see her acting, I'm like, this is a human being. Like, I feel like she's actually registering every emotion and, like, just putting the performance of her life.
Where she's being told by, like...
That's what I wrote down. The expulsion.
Yes, the expulsion. And they were like, no, you're not going to be abroad. Like, you're not. Because she's like, that's fine. Like, I'll just be abroad.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you're not going to be a student here is what we're saying. So you're not going to be abroad. And she... It's like... completely stoned. She was like,
she's like, like, it just, like,
it was
the
crazy.
way that it works for her. Also, her, like, when she was going crazy, I thought that was amazing. Or when she was walking and she, like, ended up in Steven's apartment and she was like, what the heck?
Like, what am I doing
It's here? Just every single time Lucy or Grace Van Patten is on screen, I'm like, wow, I'm so locked in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was us gassing up.
No, literally, truly
Grace Van Patten, but we love her.
And we all know, like, Jackson White's just equally as good as playing Steven.
Amazing. It's so creepy because he's such a sweet, like, guy. Like, I saw him on Drew Barrymore on the show, and, like, he's just such a sweetie. And I'm like
how can you play such a vile character?
Yeah, but it's similar to, like, how Penn Badgley plays, like, a really scary guy, and I think he's, like, super sweet.
Yeah, he's super chill.
Like, he's super chill. Like, I find him really funny, and I'm like, you play a creepy ass man. Like, creepy.
And then it's so now that you bring that up, they both have this, like, switch that just goes on when they're locked into their characters.
I think it's
where
their
they can
eyes.
It's the voice too. They have this like voice
creepy
for their character that's like darker.
Yeah.
And they're like, as soon as they're locked in, it's like they're just put into this role. So they're no longer themselves. Like, even I saw Jackson White there was this clip of him on Call Her Daddy where she's like, well, I want you to answer these questions as Steven. So get into just like his character before, and he has to like walk away, And he's like, okay, I'm gonna literally come back as Steven. And he like
really?
locks the fuck in, and it's like,
oh my god, I need to see
so
this.
interesting. And I'm like, wait, I love it. And he's like already acting like, she's like, can you move the mic closer to you? And he was like, it's fine where it is. It's fine where it's at.
Oh my god.
And then she was like, no, but can you? And then he was like, if it makes it easier for you or like whatever. And I was like, it's just, that was like so in his character.
Oh my god, he's so great.
He's just
he really is so great.
It's just such,
I do like Jackson a lot.
So good.
Yeah, because to be able to play like a person like that, I'm like, I think you have to be a really good actor.
Really great, yeah,
I do.
And I just love them together.
Yeah, they're so cute. I love them.
Yeah.
Speaking of men that I love, I just wanted to give a little shout out to Wrigley again,
course,
who I think was MVP this season. I think he was America's sweetheart. I think he was a good man, and I think that like when it really showed was when Diana had her abortion, and he was offended that Evan spoke her business. Yeah, and he was like, I think like that is Diana's business. And that for me, I was like, yeah, that's it. You won the trophy, your first place. I don't even have to watch the rest of the show.
And I think he also realizes later on, because I think he's always had this way of thinking, and he was just in the wrong group of people who 100%. Wouldn't allow that to be seen, or like for him to stand up like to it, or for stuff that was important for him or to him, until that end where I don't know who it was that told him, like
it was Pippa.
I think it was Pippa, where it was like he never gets reprimanded. Like everyone just lets him.
He always wins. He always
wins, and no one lets, like, everyone lets it slide. No one says anything about his actions, and this is why he continues to do what he does. Yeah, because he doesn't get told no, basically. And I think that just like
it did it
flipped some
like,
sort
he
of
was like
switch for him, because I think he's always thought like that's so wrong of him to say that or to think that,
or he's like, oh, you know, Steven, he's just like that
like,
guy.
That's just how
he is, you know. He means well,
until when it was time to really show it, he was like okay.
Or I think he heard it from somebody that he loves, and like truly, like Pippa is his best friend, right? So to hear it like your friend is a monster and he is terrible to everybody, and then he's like
not
sits
on my watch.
Like he sits across from him, and then he hears like, I think it finally like the little glass, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's true. Like he had clarity in that moment of like he wasn't seeing Steven anymore as like his friend, more as like just a person, and what he heard was like, wow,
like that's wrong,
you're actually a terrible human being. I don't think you deserve to win. And I think then everything came in, like I'm sure he got like, it was like a moment of like all the memories started flowing in of every messed up thing that Steven has ever done. And I think he was like, you know what, he doesn't deserve to get what he wants, and that's Yale. Like all he wants is Yale. And I love it. They wouldn't listen to Lucy, but they listened to Wrigley, and that's enough for me, you know?
And I love that he had his happy ending, because I think he went through so much in the beginning seasons, especially season 1, where his brother dies, and it's just very sad. He doesn't really have a lot going for him in the first season that's like positive, or and I think they gave him a really
ending.
Good, and they let him end up with someone
as well, not just like an ending, but like a really good arc where he was like, yes, like the substance abuse, and like he was going through that injury, and he felt like no one could like understand him, and he had like that secret about Drew, and then losing Drew and going through all of that. I just thought it was really nice to see like how he turned out, and he's always just so sweet. And like there's a beautiful scene in the finale where he says like, I contain all my stuff, like I never make it other people's problems, like I never put my like problems onto others and make it their problem and ruin whatever they have going on. And I thought that was really, really beautiful, because it's so true. It's like he handles his own shit. But I think it's good to talk about like in the finale, like a lot of the controversy was about how like you see so many media outlets do their own version of how I would have made Tell Me Lies, like how I would have made the ending, right? And it's so different from like the actual thing. And all of them are like, Steven would go to jail, like we said in the beginning of the episode, Oliver would go to jail, Steven would, you know, die, Wrigley, president of the United States, like whatever, right? Evan loses all his money, goes broke.
Wrigley,
president of the United States, like okay,
let's let him write all the policies,
right? And to me, I just thought like the ending of all, like for all these men, it was so realistic. Like I was glad that Evan like humiliated himself, like falling onto the cake and making such a like spectacle. Like I just thought that was so like, period, that's what you deserve. And Steven having his like moment with Lucy where he like for a split second was like, I won, you know? But at the end of the day, like you didn't really win. You're just the same terrible person and you have to live with that. And you know, if that's what you want to do with the rest of your life, okay, go ahead. So you're not really the winner, you know? And then Wrigley obviously getting the girl that he's wanted all these years and finally kind of breaking away from those guys, like period. I'm happy for him. And then there's some cases where men just won't ever, like they'll never get what they deserve, you know, and they'll get away with certain things. And I think it was nice to just make a realistic, obviously it's terrible, but I just think it was sort of like life imitates art kind of it
really does, like, just it goes to show that is like the reality.
That is the reality of it. It's a realistic story, and that's why I really don't disagree with how Megan Oppenheimer wrote the ending for these men. I think
as much as we'd love for all the women to win and get their happy ending and like have Steven literally never be in contact with them ever again, and just like, because you question a lot of things watching the finale too. You're just like, why even are they at this wedding? Like, why is he even in this friend group still? It's been 6 years.
It was Evan. It was because of Evan. Evan invited him.
Because they're all just like intertwined. They can't free each other.
Oh, never.
And that's why I'm like, it's realistic, because there comes a time when you're just going to be placed in situations like that. You can't free yourself of being involved with someone, or even the grasp that they have over you.
I think that goes to show, like, we fall back into toxic cycles all the time, you know? And also, again, like how deep rooted he was, like like he is so in her that it's hard for her to even like turn him down, even when you want to like shake Lucy and be like, do not, girl, because the entire episode, especially that moment when he's in the car and he's like begging her practically to come with him, and he's like, come on, just like come get in the car, like it's like old times, like get in. And you're like, Lucy, don't do it, girl. Like, just don't Lucy, do it, girl. If you know what's right for you, you're not getting in that car. Like, you've been through this before. Like, just stop being stupid. Like, you just want to shake her and like make her like see just like truth, pull her from like pull her from that situation. And I think Brie tries to do that for a bit. Like, towards the end, she's like, you can't leave with him. Like, he's done this to you before. You know what type of person he is. Don't leave with him. And she is also, and she's like, Lucy's put in this position where she has to choose between Steven, a guy who's literally hurt her entire life, or choosing between Brie, her so-called best friend, who she just found out did something terrible to her, released this tape, like basically outed her whole situation. And this whole thing kind of like stemmed from that. Like, if that hadn't happened, we could have gone this whole time like without that released video. Like, what could the ending have looked like if that tape was never released? I don't know. But I think it needed to come to light, and these like complex relationships between the friend group had to like, they had to reach a breaking point where they all know each other's lies, and they see each other for who they are, and then they can make their decision. How you go about it is like up to you. And I think that's what the showrunner was talking about. Like, she was like, they had to have gone through all of that in the wedding, so that Lucy, because people were mad that Lucy ended up getting in the car, right? And they were saying like, Lucy planned this all out, like she knew that he was gonna leave her. I think that people are giving her too much credit, because like, and not to hate on her, but I just think in that moment she truly did go with him. And then she had to see him leave her once again, and that's why she's laughing, to be like, oh my God, like he did it again. He's never going to change. And so the laugh was kind of like, no, that part, it was giving freedom. Like, that part fucking fried me. No, it fried me. I was like, girl, why are you getting out of the car? I was laughing so much. Hard, and I kept saying, oh my God, I hope he left the purse. I hope he left her purse. Like, at least give her purse back. And he left it right on the floor. Was so funny. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. She had to see Steven do that to her one more time, and to find out the truth about Brie. And like, I think at that point she was like, I'm out of here. Like, he's never gonna change. I need to change. And I thought it was really nice. I think that needed to happen. I think it's very symbolic of their relationship. For sure. And it was so it was like no matter how many times she would try, he's always gonna
in her life.
He's always like, gonna abandon her. He's never gonna be there for you, girl. So I think it was super symbolic, and that was a great ending for him and for her. And
I also found it very symbolic that Half His Age also ends in a gas station.
Yes.
And our main character, Waldo, like, she finally realizes at the end that she needs to be free of her mom, this relationship with her professor. Everything just comes to a head, and she finds her mom in bed with some other guy. She's like, okay, so she didn't change. She said she wanted to change, that she was going to a support group. She clearly didn't. She said we were going on a vacation together. She proved me wrong. So I'm going to go on this vacation myself, and I'm going to go on this drive. And she kind of frees herself by taking this trip that she was going to go on with her mom. And they both endings represent freedom to me, like being, I guess, like in Lucy's case, it was because she was left there as a result of Steven abandoning her for one last time. And even though it could have been humiliating,
no, it was her moment of like, I'm finally free. I'm alone.
Freedom. Yeah. Right. Versus Waldo's, where it was like her choice to go on this trip and free herself. But they both represent freedom to me. I'm like, wow, they're finally freeing themselves of these situations.
And both really beautiful. I love both of them.
That have shaped them.
Yeah. I love both of them so much. I do.
I'm
very content with the ending.
I'm protected. I have motherly instincts towards both characters.
To both characters, and also just like to a lot of the women in the show, and just like women in general, which I loved how Megan Oppenheimer mentioned how like she wrote the girls to have such bad storylines, kind of like really
very complex,
very tragic, because the people watching the show were like, punish the girls, like make them feel bad, they're terrible. And she was like, you know what, I'm gonna give them the worst storylines, I'm gonna make them go through hell, and then let's see if they should still be punished and how you feel. And I just thought it was a really interesting thing that she did, sort of like challenging the viewer to be like, oh my god, I was wrong. Like, you know, it makes you question how you react to other people that you see in real life. And I agree with her that like all the girls were treated really poorly, or maybe minus Pippa, but I just think Lucy in particular was this character that was like just overly hated, I think, in my opinion. Like I see her as like a full complex female character, a really well written character as well. And yeah, I just loved that she was like, you know what, I'm gonna make you see what it's like to be a woman in this situation. And
I love that.
And also just her discussion of like the cycles of abuse and how each character has some sort of connection and like is tethered to that. And we see that all the time, even in the finale. It's like you see the toxic environment and you see the toxic relationships, and that's why they're still all these years still together.
I love the way that the show was done.
Yeah, it was a really good show. I wish it was longer, but you know what? It's okay. Love a story.
Things must end.
Yeah, things must end, and that's all right.
Things must end. But you know what? I really hope Megan Oppenheimer comes out with like something else.
I know she's cooking. I know she's cooking it up, because we're big fans over here. But yeah, things must end, just like this episode.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
If you want to keep up with us, please be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at fulltimedaughterpod, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our episodes on YouTube. We also have our book club video coming out soon, so if you want to hear more about Half His Age, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that one.
Also be sure to follow, rate, and review the podcast. I would love for you to rate the podcast highly. I think it would help us.
I would love for you to
rate actually.
We would love for you to rate the podcast.
We would love. And I also just like love reading reviews.
I hope you guys know, like, even if you listen and you're like, oh, I'm just casually listening, if you leave a little like or comment or just give a little 5-star or whatever, it's so sweet, and it goes a long way.
On Spotify with like the polls.
Oh yeah, the Spotify polls, or follow us on Spotify. It just helps a lot, and we would really, really appreciate it. Also, don't know if you guys have been seeing our new kind of like series. We're doing these things called bestie dates. I am curious to know if anyone has like picked up on it, or you know, if you guys like it or interested in seeing more of it.
Any ideas of what we should do next together.
Oh, we're down to do anything. As you guys know, like we do different activities per date. So we're open to anything that you guys want to see. Yeah.
And also if you're down for more episodes like this one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For different shows. I'm sure like every month there's going to be something that's like trending and very in the media. We love to give our 2 cents.
100%. Yeah, I already have like so many ideas, but I would love to hear about what the people want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll see you.
That's it.
in our next episode because
it's a full-time job at this point. That's all. Bye, guys.
Bye.